The interim budget speech made by the finance minister is basically a political statement of a government that is going into elections. And the manner in which he has presented the figures of the Indian economy suggests that he's left all the hard decisions for the next finance minister after the elections. And it's also very clear that he himself doesn't anticipate to return as a finance minister after the elections. That is because the figures that he is presented speak very bombastically about having contained the fiscal deficit in the country. And this containment of fiscal deficit is important for international finance because that is the indicator through which they would be attracted to flow to our country. But given the global economic crisis, such flows will happen itself is very unrealistic. Secondly, even if they come, that is going to be at a very big cost to our country in terms of permitting them access to both our raw materials, resources, and giving them much greater access to maximize their profits. It will be detrimental to Indian people and the economy. But this apart, the fiscal consolidation, what is spoken of, has been achieved because of a very severe contraction in the budgetary allocations made last year. He's cut down on expenditures, particularly in all those ministries connected with social sector, and that means that whatever little the government was doing for people's welfare, that has been very severely curtailed, and to the extent that it's about close to over a lakh of crores of rupees worth of plan expenditures that have been cut across the board. And because of that saving, he's reduced nominally the figures of the fiscal deficit. So there's a fall in revenue collection, there's a fall in expenditures, which means that the economy has been contracted in order to achieve the so-called fiscal consolidation. Contraction of the economy means reduction in jobs, and coming on top of the continued rise in prices of all essential commodities, this means a double whammy attack on the people. And that is exactly what has happened, and that is exactly what is in store for the coming year as a result of the figures that he presented to the parliament today. In other words, the crisis in the Indian economy and the troubles for the Indian people are both going to intensify. This is not because, as many people are today calling it, because of policy paralysis. This is precisely because of the policy itself. And it is this policy of appeasing international finance capital, policy of neoliberal economic reforms that has resulted in this sort of a mess for the Indian economy. And this is going to get compounded. So it is this policy that needs to be changed if things have to improve both for the economy and for the people. And that alternative is there. It is there very clearly from the same budget figures that there are enough resources which can be mobilized and which can be used for public investments, which can build our much needed infrastructure and which will generate new additional employment. And once people get the new jobs, the salaries that they spend will expand domestic demand, and that will give the impetus to manufacturing and industrial growth, which is today in the negative. So this alternative path is available, and you require a political alternative to choose this available alternative in the interest of our economy and the people.